Fanatics isn't just our name, it's who we are. Loyal, passionate fans dedicated to our favorite teams and to the sports we love. That's why we're honored to be able to offer fans the world's largest collection of official sports apparel and sports jerseys from all the leagues, teams, and players you love. We feature a wide selection of gear from every league, including NFL, MLB, NBA, NHL, and NCAA merchandise, which allows us to serve fans of football, baseball, hockey, basketball, lacrosse, soccer, golf, and everything else that gets your heart pumping. Go to fanatics.com by using the QR code on your screen right now to celebrate your teams.
And with that, welcome on in, everybody, to another edition of Inside Edge Primetime here on the Inside Edge Network. Chad Bryan to my right, your left. I am Eli Moon, and we are here for a Wednesday edition of Primetime. Welcome in, everybody. A lot to talk about here. March Madness in full swing. The first four going on here. Miami of Ohio currently playing SMU as we speak right now. And we'll talk about that. We'll talk about the Browns. They made some news with A.J. Epineza. Signing him today. We'll talk about that. And the Browns proposing some rule changes potentially. I sent it over to Chad earlier today. We'll talk about that. And Wayback Wednesday. Wayback Wednesday. We, of course, have one of our favorite segments of the week. Exactly. That's how we're feeling, Chad. How are you feeling today, pal?
I'm feeling nervous. The Browns, Eli, they're making me nervous. I don't mind the move. The edge rush is fine. You're working on the defense. That's great. A little depth never hurt anybody. But the proposing the rule change for just what exactly they propose makes me, we'll talk about it in a minute, but it makes me nervous, man. It makes me feel like they have something up their sleeves and something that's just probably not going to work. I don't know.
You're telling me that's something the Cleveland Browns are going to propose about trading. Well, okay, we won't get that far into it. Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
We'll talk about it.
All right. March Madness. Let's stay locked in here. March Madness in full swing. Yesterday, two pretty exciting games, Chad. You had the UMBC Howard game. We talked about that. We actually talked about it while we were on air here, that Howard won their first ever NCAA tournament game. UMBC almost got a buzzer beater to tie the game up, but they lost 86-83. And then Texas, I believe the final was 68-66. They had a buzzer beater, basically. I mean, game winner, I shall say, with a second left. And just two surprising, really fun games. And here we are today. Prairie View A&M. I am 1-0 so far, predicting Prairie View A&M victories in the March Madness tournament.
Yeah, you said national champions, right?
I did not say national champions, but I did say that they will beat the Florida Gators, and I'll stand on that. They have beat Lehigh. They won pretty convincingly, too, Prairie View A&M. And like I said, Miami of Ohio and SMU playing right now. But, I mean, look, man, all I'm saying is Prairie View A&M, they might be the 16 team to do something here. 67-55 over Lehigh. It's going to be interesting. Kind of keep an eye on that. But, yes, if you're just not tuning in. Yes, exactly. But if you're just not tuning in, this is Inside Edge Primetime. We're going to talk about some March Madness stuff here. Just a exciting time to be a sports fan. First off, I mean, this is like the leading thing. You have spring training going on. We talked about the World Baseball Classic. We'll talk about that a little bit later on as well. But just as March Madness, Chad, and, you know, we kind of talked about it. This is a weird year where we're maybe not as statistically up to date on everything. Maybe this year we're going to be a little bit more winging it.
Hey, well, listen, I gave you 5 strategies, by the way. And I was, I should say, I talked to my daughter today. I showed her the Tuesday top 5 from yesterday. She made a suggestion to me that I realized probably maybe should have been on the list, Eli, or at least an honorable mention. She was like, what about Eeny, Meeny, Miny, Mo? And I was like, yeah, maybe you should host the show. I didn't mean to rhyme that. That was amazing. But
you just did a great job.
Hey, from now on, she does the Tuesday top 5. So that's how that goes from now on. So I don't have to worry about that.
Yeah, no, I love it. I love it. Well, hey, we're always open to suggestions, and you know what? I think Eeny, Meeny, Miny, Mo might work out. I was looking at some of these games. You know, you have Duke, and we talked about this East region, and that's what kind of like stands out to me the most. You have Tom Izzo, you have John Shire and Duke in this East region. You have UCLA with Mick Cronin. I mean, you just have a very interesting East region here. So I'm curious to see that. You know, our bracket challenge is up and live right now. We'll send that out here tonight. You have until noon, I think 12:15 tomorrow. The first game tips off, and then a game that obviously some Buckeye fans will keep an eye on. Ohio State playing TCU at 12:15. Double A had thought and hoped that it was going to be at like 7 o'clock. It is not at 7 o'clock. It is at 12:15, Chad. But it starts off the madness. Do you think the Buckeyes have what it takes to go on a little deep run here? They got hot at the end of the year this year. I mean,
Sure. Not a deep run. No, well, unless you mean winning one game, because they haven't done that in a while. Well, I think they can beat TCU. The 8-9 matchups are a toss-up. Anymore, it seems like the 5-12 matchups are a toss-up. But obviously the 8-9, they're closely matched up. They're going to be similar type, they're not similar teams, but as far as, their ability to make that kind of a run, unfortunately, yeah, I mean, no matter what they do against the Horned Frogs, they've got to see the Blue Devils in the second round. So I don't think Ohio State matches up very well with Duke. Maybe some past Buckeye teams have, but not necessarily this one. You never really want to count anyone out, but I don't know. The Buckeyes just didn't. To me, they didn't impress me at all this season. Never really showed a lot of heart until down the stretch. Maybe they're getting hot at the right time, Eli. Maybe I'm totally wrong about this team.
yeah.
I know a lot of people just are missing the Thad Matta days, and he just retired, by the way, this week. Announced his official retirement from coaching. So, I've seen a lot of people say, "Hey, we got to go back and get Thad Matta." Health concerns, I think, would have kept that off the table. But regardless, those are great days, right? They were constantly a contender. I mean, they were going to Final Fours, championship games, whatever. Those were good days, and we missed those days. But at least they found their way back to the NCAA tournament. It may not go past the second round this year, but they're here. They got in. They've got a pretty good recruit coming in next year. They got a 5-star guy coming in that maybe that turns things around. Maybe that helps kind of get the dominoes to fall in a different way for the Buckeyes. They've just struggled getting the guy. It's always that they've needed that one player, to get them over the edge. Whether it was for a while it was a post, for a while it was a scorer. I don't know. You look at like the Indians teams of the '90s, right? They always had the hitting, no pitching. So it's kind of similar with Ohio State. It's like they have one side of the ball, but not the other side of the ball, or they have whatever. Who knows? It's not easy.
Yeah, it's not. It's not. And Ohio State, if they were to win that first round matchup against Duke, against TCU, they would play Duke, and it would be an interesting matchup. Ohio State and Duke. Cameron Boozer, he's a stud right now. You got guys like him, AJ DeBansa, Darren Peterson. Those are all the talk when we talk about the NBA draft, which I'm sure we'll talk about as we get into the summer. Obviously, after the playoffs, we got a whole lot of basketball left. But Cameron Boozer going to be one of those guys that you're talking about come, April, May, June, of where is he going to wind up. And right now he's a Duke Blue Devil, and they're going to make a lot of noise. I'm interested to see what Duke does. They're in a tough region. They did not get a very easy draw, but you see them. You see Purdue made some noise, won the Big Ten. They're going to be an interesting team to keep an eye on. Michigan, despite losing the Big Ten title in the championship game, I think they're still going to be a team. You talked about them, Chad. I think they're going to be interesting. The Spartans, we'll see. They've kind of had a weird year, but you can never count out Tom Izzo in March.
No, not this time of year. One thing I did want to say in the Sweet 16, I'm curious to see how many. I haven't done this in a while, Eli. How many 6-7 matchups we're going to have in that Sweet 16?
Yeah, we have.
People lose their minds. This is the first year for that.
Yeah, we have definitely seen some 6-7 chatter here in the chat. They are excited for it. If it could happen, but we'll keep an eye on it. I guess the question overall, Chad, and maybe it's a silly one, but just with everything going on, I mean, there's a lot of sports. I mean, a lot of stuff to keep an eye on, and like you said, this is a tournament that's kind of snuck under the radar and kind of just started garnering excitement because now it's March. Are you excited for March Madness?
I am. The first 2 days of the tournament, to me, there's nothing like it. It's just all the, and sometimes you got to work to find it. It's like, True TV, it used to be Court TV, which I guess I can see the connection. Court TV. Maybe that's why they used to be, whatever. So there's games on True TV. There's games on like TBS. There's games on TNT. There's games on CBS, obviously. Those are going to be your more, your main kind of matchup games, the teams that people want to see play. Which in the first round it's tough because the teams that people want to see play are teams like Duke and Arizona, and they're playing teams like Siena and Long Island. But So they don't always show the whole game because sometimes those games do end up being like a 116 to 64 kind of a situation. It happens. But I did talk about yesterday. We see more parity now in those 116, 215 matchups. And, I can remember, I don't know, 15 beating a 2 here and there a while back. Obviously, 16 didn't happen for a long, long time until I picked the one seed that, whatever, they picked them to be my
Well, you have
national
UMBC too. You have UMBC too. UMBC,
Yeah.
with the Virginia one.
Oh,
And
yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
there's
yeah. I forgot about that. Yeah.
yeah. So you're okay, Chad. You're not completely
I wasn't the trendsetter. You're
rough.
right.
Yeah. You're doing all right, pal. But I'm excited. I think it'll be a good time. I'll be in Texas the next few days. So for prime time, just I guess I'll make that announcement now. Prime time, I more than likely will not be here with Chad. So keep an eye out on who's going to be sitting in here with him tomorrow, talking about March Madness as the day starts up. Which I am a little bummed that I'm not going to be able to chat with you about March Madness, but I am excited and thrilled that I'll be out there for the Thriller in Texas Festival that I'm co-promoting out there in San Antonio at Studio 210 with Scarface Promotions. So I'm very excited with that.
Nice.
So Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And but I'll be back. Don't worry. I'll be back Monday to chop it up with you and talk about, obviously the first few rounds and kind of see, at that point, we'll have an idea of the Sweet 16 and who are the last 16 teams standing in college basketball that have a chance at winning the crown.
That's why I love the first couple of days and even like the first weekend too. It's crazy how quickly it's just like so fast and furious from 64 to 16, right? It's boom. It's like you're all of a sudden it feels like it's over, right? Like the games get more spread out. But yeah, it's like I said, all the bouncing around of coverage. Like you go from like end of this game, end of that game, whatever. All the buzzer beaters on Thursday and Friday. It's a lot of fun. I have like really fond memories of certain teachers in college. Certain instructors, professors, whatever. Just kind of wheeling in the TV, and
Yes.
hey, it's March Madness, man. Like we're gonna watch this today. We're doing this.
I saw that on social media today. Yeah, they said you don't know people. Kids don't understand nowadays that when you wheeled in the box TV and you would put on March Madness and you sit there. Okay, the last hour of the day we're gonna watch March Madness. Oh my goodness, what a day to be alive.
Legendary status, by the way. You remember all those teachers that did that for you. I'm not going to name them by name because who knows. You do remember those. I mean, that was again. There's nothing like the Thursday and Friday of the tournament. That first Thursday and Friday are amazing. So I'm really looking forward to tomorrow.
Absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. Me too, pal. Me too. I'm excited. Well, hey, you know what I'm also excited about? Obviously, we got a lot of stuff coming up. Spring coming up right around the corner, and we'd be remiss without mentioning our friend Allie Rose and AllieRoseFragrances.com, which, of course, you can go ahead as a first-time customer, Chad. If anybody's out there for the first time using this code, InsideEdge20, capital I, capital E, InsideEdge20, they get 20% off their entire order on great candles that smell great, on body mists that smell amazing. Now, I haven't tested out the body mist myself, but I've heard great reviews. And, Allie Rose even has it on her Allie Rose Fragrances social media, she makes the body mist, how she makes the candles, these longer burn times. They're cruelty-free products. This is something that's very, very important to us because Allie Rose Fragrances, she's a small business located, obviously, in North Carolina. So we rock with her because she rocks with us. She's growing her business as we're growing our business, and we appreciate her so much. Make sure you use the code InsideEdge20, get 20% off your order. Chad's got some great candles. I mean, I'm sure at some point throughout the show he'll show you his spiced apple candle, but he's got it. He's got it.
Well, let's smell.
There it is. Wow, amazing.
Actually, I love taking the top off that. Just like it literally fills the room. It smells so good. Like it's amazing. They smell really, really good. They smell clean. They don't smell like sometimes you burn a candle, it smells like a ton of chemicals. You don't get that with these. It just smells like the clean scent that you're burning. My wife loves them. My kids love them. My kids won't even let me burn my candles because they're like, no, I might want that in my room. I'm like, okay, you're not going to have a candle in your room. But whatever, it's still an argument because they love the smell of them so much. So that's a good thing. It's a good problem to have.
Absolutely. Well, you heard Chad and I. InsideEdge20 is the code. AllieRoseFragrances.com. Get 20% off your order for your first-time customer use. Absolutely great deal. So with that being said, we are going to take a quick pause here. When we come back, we are going to talk about the Browns. The Cleveland Browns are in the news. They signed a defensive end. We'll talk about that. They also, Chad, made some rule changes. Maybe. They proposed them. They're trying. We're going to talk about that. I'm also going to ask Chad about his excitement about the World Baseball Classic and what that means for the 2026 MLB season with the lockout impending and all that. We'll talk about that. And, of course, Wayback Wednesday later on. This is Inside Edge Primetime. That's Chad Bryan to my right, your left. I'm Eli Moon. This is the Inside Edge Network. And we'll be right back after this. And welcome back, everybody, to Inside Edge Primetime here on the Inside Edge Network. Chad Bryan to my right, your left. I am Eli Moon. We are back. We talked about March Madness in that opening segment. Of course, the first four going on right now. Miami and SMU in a bit of a battle. Last time I looked, it was 46-42. Getting an update here on the score right now with the Miami SMU live right now. So we'll keep an eye on that. We want to talk about the NFL, of course. 47-42 Miami. So we'll keep an eye on that. Want to talk about the NFL, of course. The Cleveland Browns made some news today. Chad, all right, look, when we talked about the Browns and who they were going to pick up, we've been talking about receiver, we've been talking about line, we've been talking about a whole lot of things. We haven't talked about defensive end. They have Myles Garrett. I mean, they obviously are in a position where they don't really need too much help defensively. They picked up Quincy Williams, but they did pick up A.J. Epineza, and I thought it was an interesting pickup. I believe it's a year, $5 million deal with chance for more incentives. But it's going to be interesting to see kind of what he adds to the Browns here. Heading to Cleveland, he's a former second-round pick, as per Adam Schefter of ESPN. But yeah, we'll kind of keep an eye on. First 6 seasons of his career with the Bills, 27 years old. Of course, Myles Garrett and then Alex Wright, who the Browns inked to an extension. So this is a pretty good three-man team, I'd say, at defensive end. Myles Garrett, A.J. Epineza, and Alex Wright. So we'll kind of keep an eye on that. What do you think, Chad?
I mean, you always talk about trying to get Myles Garrett some help, and depth at the position is obviously not a bad thing. I mean, you got to have somebody there. And with the 1 year deal, I love the 1 year five. It's again, 5 million. It's a prove it kind of a deal. Someone said online today, either show up and produce or disappear and go somewhere else, and that's fine. I think that the Browns aren't really in a position to really be handing out a lot of 4, 3, whatever 5 year contracts right now. So I love the 1 year. I love the urgency of it, I guess. Now you feel like Epineza comes in and he's got to he feels the need to prove something. And maybe it's inspiring to a defensive end to come play alongside, well, not alongside, but on the other end from Myles Garrett, or to provide some depth at the position or whatever you want to say. I don't know. I'm looking forward to it as well. I mean, former second round pick, he's got 24 career sacks. Obviously Myles Garrett almost put that up last year. But that's okay. I mean, we're again, depth is not bad. 1 year, $5 million is really not a huge. It's a very low risk, high reward type of a signing. So yeah, we'll see what he does. I mean, we'll see what he can provide to just a little bit of help on the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah, and if you watch the Bills game, I feel like you kind of heard this guy's name quite a bit.
Yeah.
I mean, he was always involved in tackles. Like you said, you mentioned the career sacks. I mean, a guy who's gonna not be needed to be an every down defensive end. I mean, kind of see what the Browns plan, but I'd imagine Alex Wright's more in their plans with the extension, multi-year extension for him this past season. So I think it's going to be Garrett, Wright, and then you're going to have obviously Ebenezer coming in on a third down, bringing some pressure. It'll be exciting, but I think this kind of puts all the rest, the Browns even entertaining at 6, a defensive end. I mean, Ebenezer is a big enough pickup where I feel like any chatter of Arvell Reese if he were to fall, or Reuben Bain, or any of those guys, David Bailey out of Texas Tech, I think that conversation is probably done at this point, Chad.
Well, is it? Because Eli, why would the Browns have proposed this rule change? Well, I mean, I've been thinking maybe a little bit too much about this.
Okay.
So you sign a guy 1 year, $5 million to Epineza, whatever. He's going to play some. That's fine. He's going to play some football for you. He's not going to be Myles Garrett. I get it, but he is a body at defensive end. So maybe the Browns are, and I don't want to be the one to act like I'm proposing this as a deal for the Browns, but sometimes the Browns make me nervous, Eli. Are the Browns behind the scenes considering trading Myles Garrett, right? Trying to get first round picks for the next, 47 years or whatever they propose. Is it 5 years? They want to trade out 5 years?
Yes, 5
right?
years.
Okay, so not 47, but 5 is pretty good. It's close to 47. Are they considering trading Myles Garrett? Are they trying to stack a bunch of first round picks? Are they trying to recoup what they lost in the Deshaun Watson trade, right? By trading Myles Garrett, I think it's maybe, I don't know.
So you think this is for a potential Myles Garrett trade as opposed to the Browns trying to accumulate more draft picks?
Well, I think they're trying to accumulate draft picks, and you're going to have to give up something to get those draft picks, right? Maybe they take one of the defensive ends that are there and that are making some waves. Maybe they take a guy. I hope not. I don't want him
You're
to do
making
it.
me nervous now. Now you're
No,
making me nervous.
yeah, I am not proposing this by any means. I am not saying you heard it here first. I'm breaking it. Source, trust me, bro. Any of that at all. I'm just saying, what if the Browns? What if this is? What if that's what's on their minds? I don't want that. I want Myles Garrett here. I'd like to see Myles Garrett be a part of any Browns success that happens. But it just feels like they're stuck.
Yeah,
They've got a very strong defense. They would be trading from a position of enormous strength in more ways than one. And it feels like something that it feels like a Jimmy Haslam, I'm comfortable shaking this up kind of a thing, right? Like I don't want this to happen. I want this to be very clear.
Oh,
I am
my
not saying this is
goodness.
what I want. This is what makes me nervous. When they propose this rule change, I go, what are they up to? It can't be good, right?
Yeah, I mean, now you got me all nervous. And
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do
I
that.
mean, you hear all the rumors going around of, is Myles Garrett even in contact with the team ever since the Todd Monken hiring and Jim Schwartz being out, and he's putting his letter of resignation in from the team. You wonder. Now I am wondering because last year Myles Garrett was on Media Row at the Super Bowl talking about how he wanted out of Cleveland, and then he did ink the deal. But now here we are again, the defensive coordinator who didn't get the position of head coach. Myles Garrett wanted him there. He posted on Instagram the day, the Monken hiring happens, all this other stuff, and Jim Schwartz. I mean, oh my goodness. I'm worried now. Now you got me worried.
Well, and you have to wonder. People are, well, but Myles Garrett isn't saying anything this year. Well, did he learn that, hey, listen, if I keep my mouth shut, have these conversations internally, it's better for me. There's more of a chance of me getting moved if I don't tell the world I want to go, because the Browns aren't going to take, listen, when everyone knows you're trading from a place of necessity, no one's going to offer you the world, right? The Browns just watched the Ravens, try to send 2 first-round picks out to Las Vegas for Max Crosby.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, Max Crosby's a pretty good player. We looked at we didn't show it on here, but I looked at the quarterback pressures. He's actually got more than Myles Garrett over the same amount of time. But Myles Garrett has more sacks. He's gotten home more often. So, okay, fine. Neither here nor there. Myles Garrett is clearly the generational player. I mean, Max Crosby is a great defensive end. If you had your pick, you would take Myles Garrett. So by telling the world, hey, I want out of Cleveland, I want out of here, I want out of here, you realize that dwindles the return each time you say it, right? It goes down, and you as the Browns, you're forced to do something, which is hold on to Myles Garrett, because teams go, well, he wants out. I'm not going to give you 3 first-round picks. I'm not going to give you, first-round picks for 5 years or whatever, 3 first-round picks, 3 second-round picks for the next 5. I'm not doing that because I know he wants out. If he just stays quiet and keeps it all behind the scenes and keeps it internal, maybe that helps him get out. If his ultimate goal is to get out of here, which who would blame him at this point, right? If that's his goal, then this could be where they're headed with this. And they're not going to listen. They're not going to move him unless they get what they want for him, right? They've got him. He's
right.
in contract. He's got to play. He's not going to sit out the next 4 seasons or whatever, 5 seasons. I sure hope not. Geez, that would be a commitment to really wanting out of here. But it just worries me because a lot of these things are kind of lining up that if you really look at what's going on, you could see it falling into place. Again, I don't want that. I don't want the Browns to do this, but I just feel like this might be the way that it's headed.
Now, keep in mind, 24 of the 32 teams would have to approve, vote on this change and approve of it.
Yeah.
But yes, this is.
So it's likely not going to happen. But
yeah, so we'll keep an eye on it. But the other is the Pittsburgh Steelers have also made a proposal about contacting players during the free agent negotiating period. So kind of some news on that.
Okay.
Those were the only 2 teams that submitted proposals. The league announced Wednesday.
They have to be right in a different way, right? It's like, well, if you're going to propose something, I'm proposing something.
I'm going to propose something too. Yeah, you're dang right. That's funny. But, I think it'll be interesting. 24 or 32 teams, like I said, got to vote on that. The other thing I think of too, if it's not the Myles Garrett thing, is just maybe the Browns protecting themselves because they did give up so many first rounders. You mentioned in the Deshaun Watson trade, and they gave it in a very short amount of time. They've strapped themselves where they haven't had many first round picks. So maybe if they were to do a colossal trade like that again, or a team in the future, maybe they're looking out for other teams that are like, hey, you know what? Just like you guys have looked out for us in the past, we're going to look out for you. Don't get strapped trading your 3 or 4 first-round picks in a row. Maybe you can at least stretch it out, trade some second-rounders 5 years from now, some first.
Yeah.
you can have a little more flexibility. Maybe it gives flexibility, but I can understand why you're worried. I mean, especially when the biggest disgruntled star every now and then is Myles Garrett, and he happens to be in Cleveland. So I can understand where you're coming from.
Yeah. Like I said, not what I want to happen. It's just it feels like that's kind of how the dominoes are falling right now. It does make me nervous. It does make me happy. I don't want to see him go. But if you're the Browns, man, and you're offered like 3 first-round picks and 2 second-round picks over the next 3 or 4 seasons, it's tough to turn that down. I mean, when you're already you know that you're in a little bit of a rebuild right now. It's not necessarily I don't even want to say it's a retool, because a retool suggests that you've been good and you're just on the cusp of, maybe falling out of that if you don't do something. But that's not where the Browns are. I mean, the Browns record suggests 8-26 over the last 2 years really suggests that it's a full rebuild, right? And with Jim Schwartz leaving, you don't know how the defense, you don't know where a lot of guys' heads are. We saw, Devin Bush leave after having a really good year. You would think if he were comfortable with everything going on, he'd want to stay. He didn't, they went out and got Quincy Williams. That was great. They replaced him essentially. I mean, they replaced him with a really good player. So, I mean, I'm not going to say guys don't want to come here. I just don't know if retaining the roster is a thing. We'll see. I mean, Myles Garrett, they don't have to trade Myles Garrett. I'm not saying that, as I understand it, it would be incredibly difficult to do so. You would take a huge cap hit, but maybe that's the reason for proposing the extra. Okay, if we're going to take a cap hit, we're at least going to get a first-round pick, 4 or 5 years from now to make that worth it. Because we can't do anything in free agency. So, I don't know. It just makes me feel a little uneasy about the whole situation.
I can understand. Definitely.
Yeah.
Well, hey, real quick before we, I'm gonna let you calm down about the Browns. We'll come back to them. I'm sure next week they'll have something to talk about. We're gonna take a quick pause here in just a second and pivot to the World Baseball Classic. Before we do, of course, just want to remind everybody out there about our friends W Energy, and I'm gonna go ahead and let you hear a word from W Energy. Give me 1 second. Here we go. There's the code InsideEdge10 and a word from our friends at W Energy.
Clean energy, bold flavors, no jitters. See why people won't shut up about W. Clean energy, no jitters or crash. Helps you lock in and focus. Over 15 absolute fire flavors to choose from. Visit w.gg and use promo code InsideEdge10.
All right, so that is W Energy, and that's InsideEdge10 is the code. Great jitterless energy blend, 0 sugar, no crashes, great stuff there. Get 10% off your order. So,
and if you weren't thinking about it before, I would honestly do it. Just the fella's voice that did that. I mean, that's amazing. That was an amazing voice. If
you know that guy,
before, I would do it just based on the voice. I don't know who that is. But I would hire him in a moment to do my voiceovers. He is probably for hire. So I would do that if I were you.
All right. Hey, perfect. Hey, before we get ready for Wayback Wednesday, I want to talk about the World Baseball Classic. It finished up yesterday. Venezuela won the World Baseball Classic 3-2 over USA. Yeah. They get second place again in the World Baseball Classic. Last time to Japan. This time to Venezuela, who defeated Japan and upset the 3-time champs. Japan, they've won the World Baseball Classic 3 times. Not this year, however. It is Venezuela who qualified for the Olympics. They get this done. Miguel Cabrera going crazy on the bench. I mean, it was very cool. Wilmer Abreu. My question is, did the World Baseball Classic get you hyped for the 2026 MLB season, Chad?
I don't know. I mean, it was fun watching the World Baseball Classic. It was fun watching guys poured heart and soul into every single one of these games because it's such a short, bracket of time where you're playing. It's a few games in pool play, right? And then you're right on into the tournament bracket, and it's single elimination, and it's over, it's done, it's quick. It makes me think that I'm gonna hit you with something I didn't even tell you I was gonna talk about. How much fun would it be if over the All-Star break, what if we had like the big thing now, right, is travel ball. People are, maybe to a fault, really excited about the whole travel ball situation. Back when I played 150 years ago, it was all, you played in different cities. We played recreational ball, right? And there might be you would put a travel team together at the end of the year and go play in some tournaments or whatever, but it wasn't like a full season. Like you didn't go play travel ball for 50 or 60 games, right? It was different. So you would throw like a local all-star team together and go to different tournaments or whatever. And it was fun to like play with these guys you'd played against all season. It was a lot of fun. Now travel ball is all different. But people are really into it, right? It's a huge thing. So what if Major League Baseball, what if over the All-Star break, what if we shut down for like 2 weeks, okay? And I know the injury concerns are there. Nobody would ever really want to do it, but just let's just think video game mode, okay? Forget injuries, forget everything else. How much fun would it be, Eli, if we had a little travel tournament over the All-Star break? Like it's just a full every team in the major leagues got in. It's a single elimination thing. You could have a couple of games of pool play if you want. You could even go 7 innings to save pitchers' arms. Let's just even if it's hypothetical, let's just make it all hypothetical. But how cool would that be to have like a little travel tournament right in the middle of the season? I don't know what incentive you would give to a team that would win. I don't know. I haven't thought that far really yet. I just think it would be fun to see. I mean, you might have just a completely random team win that you wouldn't expect. It could be a lot of fun because it's 162 games is an absolute grind. I mean, and it makes me. It does pertain to your question because, I don't know. I mean, of course I'm always excited to watch baseball. I'm a baseball guy. But watching this short burst of baseball, everybody, the passion, the love for the game was amazing, right? You don't tend to see that over 162 games. Sometimes you see guys, you talk about taking a play or two off in football. I mean, sometimes guys will take a whole week off in baseball. They're out there, they're in the lineup, but it looks like they're not mentally engaged in the game. They're just sort of.
That would be my fear.
Emotions to avoid injuries or whatever they're doing, they just don't seem engaged for a certain period of time, and it's hard sometimes to stay engaged for 162. So it'd be fun to see that kind of a format, over the All-Star break.
That would be my fear, though, Chad, is that the engagement in terms of a 2-week tournament, because you already see Tariq Skubal bailing out the World Baseball Classic, and
of course, guys would sit it out. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, and that's the only fear. But I mean, I don't know. I think it'd be interesting enough. I think the All-Star game, though, I think MLB doesn't have a broken All-Star game, though. So I think that you can leave that alone because, something me and Papa Moon have talked about before. We're like, maybe in NBA you can kind of take a few plays off, shoot, and then kind of go laid back on defense. Or NFL, it's flag football now for the Pro Bowl. But you can't dodge a 99-mile-per-hour fastball. You got to swing or, at least be alert. So I think that's why, it's not necessarily broken. I think these extra tournaments allow for extra baseball. If we were to limit this, I mean, are you saying eliminate the World Baseball Classic? Or are you saying just put that in the middle of the season then?
Yeah, no, don't eliminate the World Baseball Classic. It's amazing. It's everything that's great about baseball. I just think it would be fun to see all the major league teams involved in a travel tournament. Like I think it would be fun. The Brewers go play the Rockies today, and whatever it could be, you could seed it by the current standings going into the All-Star break, right?
Okay.
You start with an NL tournament, AL tournament, champions play each other. It's not the World Series, but it's like the All-Star travel tournament thing. I don't know, whatever. I mean, the NBA has the in-season whatever they have going on, right? And they can pull it off, but it's harder in baseball because of pitching. I get that. I get that guys, probably wouldn't want to play the extra games. But I think the difference is it would be playing for your organization, the organization that's paying you to play baseball. I think that's the one difference where everybody gets worked up about, well, guys aren't pitching in the WBC. Well, yeah, I mean, their franchises are saying, hey, let's limit your innings because we haven't really fully ramped up yet. I mean, we don't want you going out there going 8 innings in Venezuela,
I wonder if what if the second wild card, if they had made a third wild card and that went to like this tournament. You did hey, you get the third wild card. You're automatically in the playoffs as the third wild card team, and now we're not going to have. Yeah, now there is no bye. We're going to have everybody play in the first round.
And maybe whoever wins that league, maybe we can finally say that league gets home field advantage because if you go out there and win it, you're in the wild card no matter what. You could be 40 and 122 at the end of the season, but if you won that in season travel, you've got that. You never know. Baseball's crazy. You saw the 2021 Braves, who had no business being buyers at the trade deadline, go out and completely revamp their outfield and somehow win a World Series. It seems like in baseball, it's almost never too late, right? And if you can get into the playoffs, even if you've had a bad year, guys can get hot at the right time. And in baseball, you know how it is. If you get a pitcher going and he's changing speeds and he's hitting his spots and location's good, you can shut down anybody for an extended. I mean, we had an electrician shut down Team Japan. Right, a Chechen electrician came out and threw 4 1/3 innings of shutout ball against Japan. I mean,
that's true.
I guess at the time they were the favorites in the WBC. So anything can happen in baseball. And I said this to my wife last time. Like, if you just lined up, if one team did nothing but just pull in Division III guys all year and just said, hey, our pitchers are hurt. You guys are going to pitch. You would see a couple gems. Like, you would see a couple guys go out there and throw a 3-hit shutout against the Yankees and strike out 12 because baseball's just like that.
Yes.
It's probably the most equalizing sport that there is. I mean, in the NBA, talent wins. It's 5 guys on the court. Talent wins, right? Football, if you're physically imposing, you're most likely going to win the football game. But baseball, anything can happen. You get a pitcher that's hot that day, and all of a sudden you've got to score 1 run, and that's it. You can win a game. So it's a little bit crazier sometimes. It can kind of, it really does kind of go in ways that you don't expect. So it could be fun.
Yeah, it could be a lot of fun. And,
or it could be a disaster with a bunch of guys getting hurt. Who knows?
Or it could be a disaster. Absolutely. Well, hey, one way to find out. We'll have to put this. We'll have to submit our rule change.
There you go.
See if we can get this going.
We'll submit it to the Browns, and we'll see how that works.
Well, We'll see what's going on. We got the Guardians obviously coming up, and we'll talk about that. We have some programming announcement. March 26th, Thursday, March 26th.
Mm-hmm.
Chad and I will be on earlier on primetime, just so everybody knows. It'll be 9 p.m. Eastern time to 10 p.m. Eastern time. We'll get you ready for Guardians' first pitch, which is at 10:05, I believe, that day. So we will go ahead and we'll get you ready. So I believe that's next Thursday, Chad. Yeah, next Thursday. We will be 9 p.m. instead of 10 p.m. So just want to let everybody know that. We're going to take a quick pause, though, here, Chad. I think we're going to get you ready. I know you're excited for Wayback Wednesday. We got some very out-the-box ones.
Sure.
So we'll talk about that. We'll do some final thoughts. Before we do go to a break, we're going to, of course, hear a word from our friends over at sportsmemorabilia.com.
Whether you're searching for a baseball autographed by your favorite World Series slugger, a signed football by an iconic Hall of Famer, or the jersey of a world-famous soccer star, you've come to the right place. Here at sportsmemorabilia.com, the web's leading source of authentic sports memorabilia, you'll find more than 500,000 authentic products from nearly every professional sports league, team, and player. Not only will you find your next prized sports possession with ease thanks to superb customer service and tremendous site experience, but you'll have the satisfaction and peace of mind that every product listed comes complete with a certificate of authenticity and is fully backed by the sportsmemorabilia.com lifetime authenticity guarantee. Mosser Moments Photography is a husband and wife wedding photography team based in Cleveland, owned and operated by Ryan and Hallie Mosser. For the past 10 years, they've captured more than 100 weddings across Northeast Ohio and beyond, always working together as a true two-person team. Their style centers on authentic, emotional storytelling, documenting the real moments between two people in love and creating images that feel natural, comfortable, and true to the couple. Rooted in Northern Ohio, but inspired by their travels, Ryan and Hallie bring a warm, personal approach to every wedding day. Their work blends experience, consistency, and a genuine passion for helping couples relive their best day through timeless photography. Learn more at MosserMomentsPhotography.com.
And welcome back to Inside Edge Primetime here on the Inside Edge Network. Chad Bryan to my right, your left. I am Eli Moon. Shout out Mosser Moments Photography. If you need some great photos for your very special day, hit up Bryan Mosser, hit up Hallie Mosser, and hit up the Mossers and get in touch with them and get some good photos. So, yeah, absolutely. All right, Chad, we are going to put a bow on this edition of Primetime. I am, like I said, out of the state tomorrow. My flight leaves in less than, less than like 8 hours, about 8 hours.
Did you just look at your wrist and not have a watch on?
Yeah, I did.
You have the time of your flight written on your, it's flight number.
Yeah, perfect timing. Come on. Yeah, I'll be out of the state, so tomorrow Chad will have a special guest. Stay tuned for that. As we have a special guest for Inside Edge Primetime tomorrow. But
I hope somebody wants to be on with me. We'll find out.
Oh, well, I'm gonna have to probably bribe them and give them a lot of money. But with that being said, before we get out of here, of course, on Wednesday, it is Wayback Wednesday, one of our favorite segments. So I'm gonna hand off the baton to Chad, and Chad's gonna take us way back on this Wednesday.
We got to get a thing. We got to way back. We need a thing, man.
We'll work on it.
We'll have a thing eventually. Yeah, give us time. We'll get a thing.
Absolutely.
Today we're gonna go. Listen, there's some good news. There's some bad news on the Wayback Wednesday. It's not all sports this time.
Okay.
Believe it or not, March 18th is apparently not a big sports day. Just not a lot going on in the world of sports. I couldn't find any Nathaniel Niles figure skating or tennis championships. He didn't. Again, he took the month of March off. We know that. So March 18th is kind of keeping up with that whatever, that trend. But
keeping up with the Niles.
It's not the Joneses anymore. It's the Niles. So let's go back to 1925. Unfortunately, right. It's kind of a bad one, like I said. The Great Tri-State Tornado, an F5 tornado, which is sustained winds of over 300 miles per hour. It was on the ground for 219 miles, Eli. That's crazy. Over southeast Missouri, southern Illinois, southwest Indiana. You see the numbers there. Obviously not, the advanced warning systems that we have today. We've got meteorologists live at all hours on TV, on your phone. You can get notifications, but I don't know exactly what time of day this happened. But, unbelievable. 219 miles on the ground is it's terrifying, to be honest with you. I mean, it's, and that's not an actual picture of that tornado. It was just a large tornado, a picture of a large tornado that I found. But that's terrifying. 219 miles on the ground for a tornado that large. Yeah. It's terrifying, Eli.
Absolutely terrifying. We talked about the meteor yesterday with, here in Ohio, the shaking of the meteor, or the asteroid. I mean, this is absolutely terrifying. I remember the tornado we had here. I'm over here in Parma, and we had this tornado, this gust, tear down a bunch of trees. We're back in 2024, I believe now.
Yeah.
But just tearing down trees and power lines, and I mean, it was scary. I was out in the heart of it, seeing the eye of the tornado. It was not anything probably close to this thing, and it's just scary to think, Southwest Indiana, not too far from Ohio. In Illinois, same thing. Missouri, a little bit further away, but still not too far from Ohio. It's kind of crazy, and still thoughts go out to everybody. I mean, it's 1925. I know there's people that remember that, from their family going through that back in 1925. Sure. So, thoughts to people out there still.
Yeah, contrary to popular belief, I was not yet born.
No, not you, but
I do remember the 2024. I mean, I remember that it was late at night. It was like 1 a.m, and I remember, they had thought, hey, the weather could get crazy, so I stayed up a little bit later to keep an eye on it. And I remember at one point I was like, oh, I wonder what's going on with the weather. I never did check the radar, and it kind of, you could hear the wind picking up a little bit outside. And I looked at my phone and I was like, oh man, like I'm gonna grab the kids and go downstairs just in case. And I went to open the door and I could actually hear tornado sirens. It's one of the first times living out here where we do just outside of Sugar Falls, a little bit out in the country. I could actually hear the tornado sirens, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna scoop the kids up. We're going to the basement just in case. And it got a little bit loud. I mean, we had one that touched down that basically came close to the end of our road, like near our property, Eli. There was some damage all the way, like pretty close, within about a mile of our property. So yeah, you could definitely hear it. Tense moments for sure. I was just trying to keep the kids, loose and whatever, try to keep them laughing in the basement, but it was a little bit terrifying at the time. So I can't imagine what an F5 would even sound or feel like going near or over your home. It's got to be terrifying. So
yeah,
that's a bad one. In 1931, on this day, Schick came out with the first electric shavers. That we're going to completely switch gears, and I assume that everyone before just you either were completely clean shaven because you were scraping your face with like a straight razor, or you looked like Captain Caveman, right? You just had a full body beard because what were you going to do until 1931 when Schick said, you know what, we're tired of seeing beards down to people's ankles. We got to do something. Let's make an electric shave. Let's make it easier for the lazier fellas among us to trim their beards. Some guys don't like the straight razor. Nobody likes an ankle beard, right? You don't want that. They saved the day in 1931. Electric shavers, they went on sale. I don't know how much. I wish I knew how much they were. Probably like 99 cents or something. But that was probably very expensive in 1931. But yeah, on this day in 1931, the first electric shavers went on. So
people were probably losing their minds when they found out that you could electrically shave. You didn't have to go do all the hustle and bustle of having to get the shaving cream and then like make sure you didn't mess up. I don't know, Chad. This is insane. Schick, first electric shavers, amazing.
Yeah, I'm sure a lot of wives were like, "Wait, that's who I married." You know what I mean?
Yeah,
but hey, it was a clarifying moment for them as well. It was a moment of what do we say? A moment of something. I don't know. I can't
clarity.
Think of it right now. I'm too tired. It's too late in the week.
Yeah,
Let's just move on. It'll be easier to move on, and hopefully everyone will just forget. At least I didn't say foolproof, so that's good. What happened? Oh, we have a sports story. In 1953, on this date, the National League approved the Boston Braves to go ahead and make the move to Milwaukee to become the Milwaukee Braves. That was the first such move in a half a century since 1903. So it was the last time a team had moved before that. So I thought that was pretty crazy. It feels like when you look back on the history of baseball, teams were moving all the time. But apparently everybody stayed put for 50 years, and I didn't know about that. So, again, contrary to popular belief, I was not alive during this time, so I didn't know. I wasn't there.
Yeah, just cool. I know you're happy. Obviously, a Braves thing here. Boston Braves and Milwaukee. Just seeing the word Braves, I know you're excited. I know different franchises, but like just excited to see the word Braves. I know you couldn't pass it up on a day that didn't have much sports news. We knew our guy Chad was gonna find a way to sneak the Braves in one way or another, and yeah, pretty cool though. Pretty cool. Yeah, like you said, 50 years since a shift, and I mean. Now we were talking yesterday in the NBA about expansion or I believe 2 days ago. Oh my goodness, it's been a week. But about Vegas and Seattle. But very interesting with baseball. You don't see a ton of it. The big thing right now is the Athletics. Seeing they're not necessarily. I mean, they're moving, but this isn't like this type of move. So interesting to see what's going on.
Yeah, I just thought that was a cool moment in history. And then of course in the '60s they came over to Atlanta, which is where Hank Aaron eventually broke the all-time home run record. And a lot of history has happened in Atlanta since then. So. That's where we are now.
And Ronald Acuna hitting leadoff home runs for Venezuela.
Yes, hitting leadoff home runs for everybody, man. That's Acuna's thing. I remember when he came back last year from the second time he had torn his ACL. Eli, it was so exciting. The very first pitch he saw in the game that he came back, he hit a home run. Led off, first pitch of the game, hit like a 460-foot bomb. It was like, oh, man, he's back. That was pretty cool. He's just really an electrifying player to watch. I hope that he stays in Atlanta for the rest of his career. Obviously, a little bit selfishly, I do want him to be there, but he's just a lot of fun to watch. So hopefully he'll stay there. And I thought he was pretty electrifying for Venezuela too. You can see he just plays. He's all emotion, right? He just plays with his heart on his sleeve. Like he's a very passionate guy. Loves baseball and just a lot of fun to watch. So glad that he's in Atlanta now. He could have been in Boston, could have been in Milwaukee, could have been anywhere, but he's in Atlanta.
Yes,
so there we go. Let's move on. In 1965, this is another one that comes with maybe a little bit of a sad part, but this is also one of my kids' favorite songs. Both of they love the song, and my wife plays it a lot. I had actually never heard this song until my wife played it. I was like, "What are we listening to?" Do yourself a favor. We can't play it on the show, because copyright things, and people are People don't like you to have any fun. So do yourself a favor. If you go home, well, you're probably home. I don't know if you're driving around and watching this. I hope you're not doing that. That sounds horribly reckless. And speaking of reckless, I'll just read the 1965. A truck loses control down Music Street. Music, that's a great name, by the way. In Scranton, Pennsylvania, of course, the home of Dunder Mifflin, but that's fictional. Unfortunately, it did kill the driver, but the song 30,000 Pounds of Bananas by Harry Chapin was inspired. So about a decade later, this song was, written and recorded, perfected. If you, like I said, do yourself a favor, listen to the live version. It's just a lot of fun. It's a fun song. Again, unfortunately, a sad incident, kind of made this come into play. But the song is pretty entertaining. So do yourself a favor, listen to the live version. If you haven't heard it, if you're like me and you live under a rock and you didn't know what this was, please listen to the live version of the song. And Eli, I feel like I exposed you to this song tonight. You didn't know about it.
Yes, I did not know about it. And you played it before the game. Before the show.
We are winning right now. Yes, we're winning.
Before the show. And, oh my goodness, what a fun song. I could understand why it's a popular hit in the Bryan household. I mean, me and Papa Moon might have to jam. They want to come back from Texas. 30,000 Pounds of Bananas. I mean, what a good little vibe. Good vibe.
Yeah, the song's nonsense. Like I said, unfortunately, a sad event did take place to kind of put this into play. But the song is fun. And, Harry Chapin is pretty entertaining. So, and then our final item for Wayback Wednesday also happened in 1965, and I don't think anyone could be upset about this unless maybe you're out there, you're like me, you're trying to watch your weight, and it's not really going well. Well, you can blame this guy because in 1965, Poppin' Fresh, the Pillsbury Doughboy, he was introduced. He was around, and I told you before the show, Eli, I was really looking for a Michael Jackson story on this day, because I really wanted to go from hee-hee to hee-hee, but it did not work out for me. I couldn't find a Michael Jackson story.
I want some cinnamon rolls. Rolls.
Well, this guy can hook you up. Call Poppin' Fresh. He can hook you up. I didn't know that was his name. I learned that today.
Poppin' Fresh?
I just thought he was the Pillsbury Doughboy. I didn't know he had
That's what I thought he was, too.
Right? I didn't know. I had no idea.
Poppin' Fresh, the Pillsbury Doughboy.
That's him. That's
He's
him.
fresh.
He is fresh. He's Poppin' Fresh. Yeah,
He's Poppin' Fresh.
There you go. There's your Wayback Wednesday.
I love it.
March 18th.
I love it. Before we get into the final thoughts, we did get a reminder that, of course, the return of Midnight Run with Anthony Alford is back after prime time. He was off yesterday. He's back tonight. Some things to keep an eye out for. Could the crazy Browns rule proposal be a setup to trade Myles Garrett? AA will talk about that. And after the success of the World Baseball Classic, like me and Chad were talking about, will Rob Manfred be remembered as a better commissioner than Adam Silver of the NBA? And then AA also react to Miami, Ohio, and what would you consider a successful tournament run? And he's going to talk about the NIL ramifications of that as well. A lot to keep an eye on. That's Midnight Run with Anthony Alford in about 50 minutes here on the Inside Edge Network. Make sure you give it a follow, Inside Edge Net. Chad, I know it's unhinged. It's crazy.
That's going to be a really good discussion, though. What do you consider a successful tournament run? Because I think it's all about perspective, and I just think that's going to be a fun conversation. I can't wait to hear that one.
It sure is. AA's let me have the night off. Let me get a little bit of sleep before I go to Texas. So he'll be running the whole thing tonight. So make sure you get some support to AA Anthony Alford, as he's going to be one-man showing it tonight. I'll be back with him next Monday.
I was going to make a joke, Eli, and say, you look like you need it. But then I remembered that I am also on camera. So I don't want to do that. That's not
fair. All right. Hey, why don't we do this? Why don't we get into some final thoughts, pal? What do you got for me?
Listen, don't tell your co-host they look like they need sleep if you also look like you need sleep and are on camera. No, that's not the final thought. I guess my final thought is, I don't know. I mean, I don't really have one for tonight, man. Just enjoy the NCAA tournament tomorrow. I guess go listen to 30,000. Listen, it's pool-proof. Absolutely pool-proof. You knew I was going to make a huge mistake. Go listen to 30,000 Pounds of Bananas tonight. Listen to the live version. It's fun. And then tomorrow, enjoy. Hopefully, we get some buzzer beaters. I love all like I said, bouncing around between games. All the, it's like it's so just chaotic. Like the coverage is fun. I think it's fun. But I have ADHD. I think that's my ideal kind of sports coverage. Like you bounce from game to game. You never linger too long. If there's something going on, they bounce you out to another game. So that's fun. But yeah, enjoy that tomorrow. Don't get fired. If you're not supposed to be watching it at work, don't try to sneak it up on your phone or anything. But do try to find a way to at least keep tabs on the score. And hopefully you have a cool boss, a cool teacher, a cool whatever that's going to let you watch the beginning of March Madness tomorrow. So enjoy that.
I second Chad's final thoughts. I also want to remind everybody out there, just continue to believe in yourself. Chase your dreams. Go get after what you want to get after. Stay safe. If you're in Ohio, obviously it's a little bit cold, so just stay warm. It's supposed to get a little bit warmer here soon. Texas, I'll see you tomorrow afternoon. San Antonio, if you're out there, Thriller in Texas Festival, great show, Rap Hippie, Ruthless June, Devontae. I mean, we have a lot of great names. Stephen Q. I mean, we got a lot of great names on the card. Cliche, Eli Moon, that's me. We got a lot of great names. ND5. I mean, just a great show. Eli Moon, myself, and Scarface Promotions were in collaboration on this show. So if you're in the San Antonio area, come out to Studio 210. Tickets are still available at the door. So go ahead and let's lock in and let's have some fun. Yeah. So with that being said, Chad and I, we're going to take a quick pause here for the evening. We'll be back. Chad will be back tomorrow, Thursday.
Actually, it's going to be about a 23-hour pause.
That's fair. Long to some, quick to others. Hey, quick to others. Hey.
Depends on what you do for the 23 hours. You're right.
It's all about perspective. Remember, we just talked about perspective.
We did just talk about that.
All right. Chad will be back with you tomorrow with a special guest for his host for Inside Edge Primetime. Again, reminder, Midnight Run with Anthony Alford at midnight. Closing out his week here run with you. So, again, give us a follow Inside Edge Net if you enjoyed all the content. I'll be back with you next week. But until then, that's Chad Bryan to my right, your left. I am Eli Moon. This is Inside Edge Primetime. We're going to get off the air before we just keep rambling. This is Inside Edge Network. We'll see you next week. We'll see you tomorrow. I'll see you next week. See ya.